Hello there and happy early Halloween. I know it's still a week or two or three to go until actual Halloween. I've already started decorating, and not too long ago we took a look at these minifigures from the Build a Minifigure station this year. Not only do we have 3 brand new minifigures that I did pick up for my mum and a few accessories to go alongside, which should probably be the other sides of the minifigures, but I've also previously shown off the pumpkins that we got. I think I got the brick costumes when we picked those up, and I have a few of my own. Here we go. This is the lot of them, I promise. We have a few spooky, scary figures up here, which I should really get out and put on display. That's what this video is about, our Halloween display 2025. And it was actually my mum that asked if she could have some displays, 3D printed displays, like my clone wall in the background, which are hexagon shaped, they interlock, but she didn't really want an entire wall of them. So maybe to reduce the background of them, have some fun little Halloween displays in the back. And later on in the video, we'll also be taking a look at the Halloween display in the background. I did find someone that had made hexagon Halloween kind of like coasters. You could definitely 3D print them and use a few as coasters during this spooky season. But I combined the idea of hexagon displays with these spooky coasters, and they've been printing for the last about 3 hours. I have printed 6 of them now. Here are the brand new 3, and they look super cool. Initially, these weren't meant to be the color. It was meant to be inverted. Just wait for this though. Oh, super satisfying. Originally, they were meant to be orange on the bottom, which gives the color through the windows. They're hollowed out and the color is just printed on the bottom. It wastes a lot less plastic than trying to actively color each layer in 2 different colors. And we've got 3 designs. We've got the pumpkin for the pumpkins. We've got the witch hats, I guess, for the witches. And then we also have a bat, which, looking at it, no, I thought it was wonky, I'm just holding it wonky. We do have a bat. No Batman here, but I did go back and thinking of bats, it got me on the trail of Batman. I have gone back and updated the Batman minifigure. A while ago, I took a look at my Spider-Man display and realized actually none of them had dual molded legs or printed arms beside the Spider-Punk CMF minifigure that in picking up, we had to evict Ghost Rider off that display. And I haven't done it to any other minifigure displays yet. Besides my Star Wars one, we've taken a look at a few minifigures that needed some CMF parts. So today I took a look at my DC collection. Wonder Woman already has side of the leg printing on both of the legs. No idea where I got this minifigure from. Penguin, Joker, Harley Quinn, Man of Steel, Superman and Robin. Didn't really need it. Might add it to, is this Batwoman or Batgirl next to Batman? But Batman was in desperate need of some boots and gloves. Here we have the Batman minifigure with, I've swapped out the grey hip for a black one. I've also painted on some dual molded boots, which look gorgeous, by the way. They look so cool. And then painted on some longer gloves for Batman. And this minifigure looks like they're straight out of a CMF. All he's missing now is like some Bat logo display to stand on. I guess it doesn't work too well with a cape. But that's not what this video is about, kind of. About bats and like skeletons on fire. Don't see that in too many Halloween stores. Instead, it's about these little displays that I have 3D printed for the minifigures. And they do stand a minifigure quite comfortably. I was hoping to get a 4x3 plate on it. I think a 4x3 is just too small to fit on the surface, but it is roughly the same size. And the minifigures kind of block the design on the back when they're standing on it. I've reduced the hex display down to like 40% of its original size. I think I should have blown it up just a little bit so you could see the display over the top, but they don't take up too much room and do stack a lot easier than the old displays, which we did end up boxing up when we moved to the other side of the room, and they were a pain to contain. But the original colors was orange on the back. Let's see if we can compare them side by side. Orange on the back, black in the front. I'll be completely honest, I don't like it as much as the black in the back and the orange in the front. For all 3 of these, they're the pumpkins. For all 3 of these, I prefer the orange front and the black back. I don't know why exactly. It's just like this feeling I have that it just feels better. And also there are 6 backs despite there only being the 5 minifigures, so that the accessories also get their own perch. The cat and the ghost, really they should get their own separate displays each. Maybe I'll print some more of these. There we go. They both stand on the same display. Don't take up too much space, and the ghost can overhang it a little bit. And all 6 of these will now be on display for Halloween, hopefully every single year. The good thing with 3D printing these displays is they are very durable. They'll stack up in storage when they get put away with the rest of the decks and these minifigures. And now I kind of want some for my own collection. This isn't the only display that I've got going on. There are a few Halloween bits around. We've got a ghost on the monitor, a bat by the side just in front of a massive spider web, and a ghost in the background, all of which you cannot see. But the one display you can see is just in front of the UCS Slave 1. We've switched to the mobile camera because we are on the road to take a look at the display. Here is all of the centered Halloween stuff. Just above Thrawn's custom chimera we built using the Star Destroyer, and I guess the pumpkin can be covered first. That's just one of those paper pumpkins. Really cool how you can just unfold it. They're packed flat, and I'm just mesmerized with that. But the main bulk is over here. We have 4 ghosts, a giant skeleton that we built last year. I think there's an entire video on that, so I won't cover that too much, but it's roughly a 1:4 upscale. I think it's about a 1:4. Rex is a 1:6, and it looks to be about 2/3 the height of our Captain Rex and our Bugs Bunny Jackson. I think that's 1:4, built really well. And again, that is someone else's design that I've printed there. And then we've also got the pumpkin from the Luminous Ghost. I kept that. Don't have the bat anymore. Our Darth Maul with the spider legs, which I think fits in really nice for Halloween, being all creepy spider-like and kind of fills up the spider portion of the display without having too many spiders around. And also built especially just for this year, this custom brick separator monster, which I think we'll take a look at first. Oh, missed that one. You might have noticed just in the background on the door that some of the brick separators have been changing. And now that we've built our Hello There in orange brick separators, I think it would be really cool to try and collect some of these teal brick separators that I use in this brick separator hammer. Again, 3D printed. A lot of stuff, if it isn't built with Lego, tends to be 3D printed. It's like adult Lego in a way. And that meant I had 1 spare orange. I think I used the others to build a display for my mini kit. We'll have to check that in a second. Yep, found them. They're holding up the base of this giant mini kit storage device because it's got a rounded off bottom and the plates on the end and the axles just on the tips here are the perfect shape to support it with absolutely zero wobble. I've turned it into this monster by taking a few techniques that we've used recently, for instance on the Lambda Shuttle. If you've built at least a section of the Death Star, chances are you've looked at the instructions for the Lambda Shuttle, which is just after you build the hot tub in book 6 out of 6. And they connect this front wedge here using a few different rounded off plates with 2 length bars going between them, which is what I've used to connect these leaf elements backwards into the brick separator, and then the bars are holding on the eyes at the front and providing pupils. We've used some of the 1x1 studs with a hole in the middle in white, so that this monster looks like they've got pupils sticking out, and they've even got a hole in them to create that inner ring of the eye. And then to build out the mouth, there are a few ways you can do this. A 2x2 plate, 2x3, 2x4 plate. We've gone with a 2x2 and a 2x3 to give it some teeth. I felt like the jaw was just too small. It was definitely missing something. So I've replaced that 2x2 plate with some brackets and some 1x2 rounded off slopes to give it much more of a wider jaw, so that when it opens its mouth, it does look a bit more terrifying when it lets out its deafening scream. I really like the design of the brick separator. If you haven't, built any monster or any character using the brick separator, I urge you to grab one right now, pick up a few parts. And if you do build a little brick separator monster, post your image in the channel's community page, and we're gonna have a herd of brick separators ready to charge on the Lego stores to pick up our UCS Death Stars. Charge! But this is just a fun little build, and if you want to display it as well, I'm gonna have to get the parts to build a second display stand. I can't believe I dropped the pieces. It's fallen into the only Lego bag I am yet to sort. We are so close on it, but it's only consisting of 2 pieces, so they were really easy to find. The 2 pieces you're gonna need to build the display for this brick separator and for any brick separator creature you create, unless you give yours legs, which would be a smart thing to do in hindsight, is a 1x2 panel piece and a 2x3 Lego plate. The top studs on this 2x3 then connect to the front of the brick separator, just like that, and it can stand. You don't have to push it all the way down, but that stands up the brick separator so that it can be among my other Halloween creations. And it now lives just behind Darth Maul here. Make sure we've turned it the correct way around, but Darth Maul themselves is in need of an upgrade, not so much for Halloween, but especially from Rebuild the Galaxy. If you've watched the show, then you'll know that the character that uses the spider legs in Rebuild the Galaxy isn't Darth Maul. Darth Maul's got some really snazzy Hoth costume, but it's actually Darth Jar Jar instead. He gets crushed in the first season. Mild spoiler alert, but he does make his debut in season 2. So we're going to be evicting Maul, actually bring back those black legs, and we could create the older classic Maul that we improved to make this. Initially, all we did was get a 2x3 brick, as we would have like 10-20 years ago when Maul was found to actually be alive, similar to Darth Jar Jar in the show, and put that 2x3 brick between the Maul torso and legs. But before we get working on our Jar Jar Binks, I kind of want to improve this, because since then we've run into another element, this 2x2 Lego piece that is only 2 plates tall and has a really nice pattern, almost like Darth Maul's belt, that you can connect the legs straight into, and there is practically no gap between the legs and the brick element, which blew my mind when I was playing around with this, trying to find an element that would work instead of a 2x3 brick. So let's see if we can use that instead. Because it's only a 2x2 brick and isn't a 2x3, it does leave the back hips exposed. There are a few things we can do with it. Actually, we could just straight up connect Maul to it, but then he's looking a bit more like a centaur, not quite like a spider Maul. We're going to stick Maul in the studs at the front, and then we can attach on the back of those studs a 2x2 slope that doesn't fully cover the back, but it does go over the top half of the stud. I don't think the 2 little gaps in there are that bad. Also gives us space to maybe add a little spider towel, or like the Daffy Duck butt. I'm realizing now that for Maul's butt, what we could do, rather than trying to find that duck element in black, which does exist here on Daffy Duck from the Looney Tunes, I always get the ducks confused. I'm pretty sure this one's Daffy, is use a 2x2 slope. Fairly easy common element, and it will also not only fill up the gap on the legs, but leave no gaps anywhere. Wait, why am I filming this on a black background when I have a green desk mat? Speaking of, a few of you have asked for other colours beside green, and I am very happy to announce we now have purple, blue, red, and I think that's it. But you know, 4 colours for a desk mat that is compatible to any brick building system 8mm wide is pretty cool. So you can check them out, link in the description. Here is Mini Maul version 1. You can see the duck tail definitely rounds off the back, but I think the slope will do well to keep this area of the body separate and not just look like the back of a 6-legged centaur. And here's Daffy Duck using the 2x2 slope on the back. Very, very tall and actually a little bit creepy. Let's return Daffy Duck back to their display, and here is the Darth Maul with the 2x2 slope on the back. We've used some quarter round tiles to round off the booty of Maul, which does stick out a little bit. I think that's fair. It's a spider butt, kind of expecting that. Wish the slope on the bottom would have been a little bit more rounded, But this looks better than just a regular 2x3 brick, and that's for sure. And I'd love to see this in a Lego set, but I do think the old torso is a lot better, and I'll probably switch these back after Halloween. So that Jar Jar can ride on Maul's legs, he needs to be increased by just over 2 plates. It's because of those Gungan ears at the back that collide with the slopes. We could switch out the slopes to maybe a 2x2 plate, but then you've got the exposed studs at the back, try and whack a cheese slope on top, and then you're ending up with the exact same problem. So rather than modifying the spider body in any way, shape or form, what I'm going to do is grab a 1x2 brick out of thin air and place that between the torso for Jar Jar Binks and also the spider leg body. There is a small gap between it. We couldn't have got much closer without using like a million different bracket pieces. And now we have our Darth Jar Jar, Spider Leg Edition, and also our revived Maul from when he somehow returned in the Clone Wars. I was just going to place Jar Jar back along the display, but I think there's enough space to get Jar Jar and Maul, and take a look at that. The height difference between the two of them. Jar Jar's like double the height, but it's not our last Lego build, and I'm not speaking about the skeleton. It's actually to do again with a gift with purchase, another improvement that you said we could make, and I was already on it this time. I've seen a few of you now, not just on comments of my videos, but comments about the Lego set in general, talk about modifying it so that the light is always on, or replacing the brick in there, because at the minute, all you got to do is press the button in, and when you let go, the eyes and mouth stop glowing. Now, it's a little different to Lego's official model because I wanted to be more efficient with a light brick on the inside, and I am using an orange one rather than the red one. But it's essentially the exact same problem that the gift with purchase has. My one has a much easier fix. On the back, we've got this 2x4, which I've used to replace the button we initially had. You can check out the original review for that. And this was mounted on some 1x1 2 tall snot bricks, which held both sides, and there was a plate in the middle originally when we had the separate button. But the problem with it was the brick was either, you know, too loose and couldn't press down on the button, or it couldn't stay down on those studs because you were just asking it to go too far, and it wasn't able to compress the axle inside the smart brick enough for what we needed the smart brick to stay on. You could try to maybe remove the axle and try to get it working without, but I found an easier way that allows it to be both a button and also stay on a bit more permanently, though we have a few troubles trying to get it first time on camera. So let's see if we can get it to work, and then I'll explain exactly what happens once it stays lit up. First time. This is a very special occasion. You need to hit like on this video right now. To get this to stick down, I've swapped one side with a bracket, and that's the side you press just to turn it off. You can see once this is pressed down, the lights go out, and then I press down on the right side of the head. The right side of the head, no, there you go, now it's misbehaving again. The right side of the head, come on, watch, it'll work when I least expect it. I literally just said it and it's already working. Right side of the head to then keep it in, because the brick is kept at a slight angle, kind of half on the bracket, half on the other stud, which gives it enough friction to stay on. Possibly an illegal technique. I don't know if it stayed on forever, if the 2x4 would be affected negatively in any way, shape or form. But I do know that eventually the smart brick inside, not the smart brick, I've been calling it the smart brick, which doesn't come out until next year. The LED brick on the inside will lose its charge very quickly. The batteries in this aren't too good. That's one thing I am looking forward to the smart brick for, though, the rechargeability of it and the fact that we can just keep it on a pad and essentially have it plugged in, going forever and ever. But I would be mistaken if I didn't turn off the lights. Oh, this guy's glowing. How do I do that to the... There is just one switch on the bottom. I didn't realize they do that. That's nice to know. But let's turn off the lights and check that out. That's going to look awesome of a nighttime on display. Last year, we did also build a Skeleton AT-80 that was amazing. I'll leave it on the end screen if you haven't checked that out already, but I don't think I'll be doing anything like that this year. I've left it a little too late. Hopefully we can get a few done by Christmas. Here they are on display. I still have no idea how I've got Flubber to flash different colors, but maybe it's just a different make to the other one. Really like the Lego one, just in behind with its glowing menacing eyes. They will definitely be haunting my dreams for the next few nights. But like I said, go check out the 8080 video at the top of your screen. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this one. Let me know what you think of the display. May the bricks be with you, always.